Hi, and welcome to this week's solo episode of the Guest List podcast. I'm your host, Steve Guest. Huge warm welcome to everybody that is tuning in and listening. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, I do apologise because I am well overdue a haircut, and that's definitely on the priority list to get sorted. It seems to be one of those things that as the work gets busier and you find yourself ticking off various things, it just seems to fall down the list somewhat. So I do need to sort myself out. But that isn't today's topic. What I wanted to discuss now, for those of you that follow me on social media, in particular LinkedIn, you'll have seen that I've had a post that has gone pretty viral over the last 7 days. I'll give you a bit of a kind of overview in terms of the post. So I ran a poll on LinkedIn, and it was basically saying that Costa Coffee is better than Starbucks, in my opinion. And I wanted to get my network's opinion as to which coffee was better. And I asked for anybody that preferred a different type of coffee to add that into the comments. And it went live and it started to gain interaction and engagement pretty quickly. The poll was set up for 7 days, and it actually finished this morning. So it'd been live for the 7 days. The general stats as of recording this episode and this YouTube video is 264,000 views. 5,700 odd votes, almost reaching 1,000 comments. Lots of engagement, lots of interaction, and it is quite clear that we all like our coffee and we all have an opinion about coffee. I'm not sure there's a place on this planet now where there hasn't been a suggestion of which coffee house or coffee place to go to, or what type of coffee beans you should go with. General discussions centered around the main kind of brands, Costa, Starbucks, Cafe Nero. And then it went down to the smaller independents. And there was a lot of discussion over where you should spend your time, whether you should go to the smaller independents and support them, and perhaps try and avoid the bigger corporate brands. And it was a really engaged post. And it's been really interesting watching the interaction as people make their comments all around the globe and impress upon people their opinion as to what type of coffee you should drink and where you should buy it from. And it got me thinking over that, I suppose, course of 7 days or so. Generally, the comments and the interaction within the post was about coffee. It was about the positivity of what coffee brings. It was an opinion. It was a discussion around that. There was a couple of comments that were, I suppose, slightly off kilter. And I put some of the updates across various groups over the last week or so. And we've had some interesting points raised in terms of people's opinion as to whether it's a valid post to do, if it's something worthwhile. Is it just a vanity metric? Is it clickbait? Is it just doing things for the sake of doing it with no real value attached to it? And I've been on a mission, as some of you will know, in terms of growing and building that personal brand and building up, I suppose, a brand awareness for everything and anything that you do. Particularly if you're in sales as well and you're trying to promote a product or business or service, it's important to get noticed, and obviously for the right reasons. Do I run a coffee shop? No. Do I sell coffee? No. Is that something that has an impact in terms of what I do? No, not as a subject. But anything that creates 265,000 views in just 7 days has a business impact. It has a personal brand impact. And it truly has, in terms of the effect that it's had throughout, I suppose, the last 7 days and the social media coverage that it's gained. And I suppose I wanted to cover it in today's episode, really to just give my thoughts in terms of where it's come from, why it's there, and what I believe the benefits are and what's been shown throughout the last 7 days. So Some of you will know, and I think I've probably covered this in earlier podcasts. Every single week, I look to try and post at least 10 times during the week, ideally 2 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. And I do it at breakfast time and lunchtime. And for the very reason that you tend to get more people on social media, more people kind of scrolling through timelines, which hopefully creates the ability for more people to see what content you're trying to post. I split the 10 posts up each week. So I try to do 7 posts that are related to the business, what I'm trying to do in terms of commercial construction recruitment. What is it that is a big percentage of where I want to spend my time, but also a big percentage as to what I want people to see in terms of my business and how that can then affect potentially my success and the sales element. I try and put 2 posts out about me. So what makes me, personal, I suppose feelings, emotions, things that happen that I deal with during the week that allows people to build that know, like and trust and get to understand a little bit about how I work and what I do. And then I try and put 1 post a week that creates engagement, creates interaction, and allows people to offer an opinion. Ultimately, these posts are there to divide opinion. And I've expressed this strategy for a long time. The reason you want that 1 engaged post is, as a recruiter, some of you will vouch for this, as some may not know, but as a recruiter, you are often struggling to get engagement in posts because you're either advertising or selling a position, a company, or an individual. And neither candidate nor client are likely to interact because they don't necessarily want to promote to the world that they're either looking for someone who will have a role to fill, or they're looking for a new role, or they're even associated with a recruitment consultant. So in effect, I suppose I'm saying that potentially 7 out of 10 of my posts each week might get next to no engagement. And I'm okay with that because this forms the whole kind of strategy. This is what makes it all fit together. And without that 1 engaged post, that 1 post that discusses something completely devoid and removed from perhaps the other elements that I focus on, it's because it brings people to my profile to look at me, to perhaps read the other areas, the other elements to what I do and what makes me me. And for this specific post, the reach that it's got has been absolutely massive. To get to 250,000 people across a 7-day period, to have the potential and the opportunity that having 260,000 people look at your profile brings is huge. And for anybody that's listening to this and it's still not sinking in, you've got to start thinking in terms of growth mindset and bigger picture. The more people that see you, the more people that know who you are, the more times that you turn up in searches and on people's timelines, the more people are going to come to you, the more inbound leads you create, the more referrals you get, the greater ability you have to either find or create more opportunities and potentially be more successful, because you're opening up areas of conversation that you might not have had if people didn't know where you were or how to find you. And if we just look at this post in isolation, in terms of the effects it has had, my profile views have gone through the roof. Loads and lots of individuals on a global scale have looked at what I do. They've looked at who I am. They're now aware in terms of perhaps the other avenues that I get involved with outside of recruitment, but they also know that I do the day-to-day recruitment. It's got the brand noticed. It's allowed for an increase in both personal brand and company brand. It's allowed the business to reach out to bigger, further audiences that are outside of perhaps the normal day-to-day network. It's allowed the ability to attract new followers and potential customers. Now, as a platform in terms of LinkedIn, it's quite strong. My network is 30,000 plus followers, which is pretty decent. And I get a good amount of profile views on a daily, weekly basis anyway. My profile views after that post were 300% up just last week. It's created brand awareness. It's created inbound leads. I have now got clients and candidates that I'm talking to that I perhaps haven't spoke to for a few years. Some of them are brand new. I've had clients contact me with vacancies because they now know what I do. It's grown the network. It's brought new connections. It's raised my personal brand to a whole new set of level. Book sales have gone up massively last week. YouTube viewers has gone up. Subscribers have increased. Listeners to the podcast has also gone up across all episodes, which is amazing. And there's no cost to it. That's the biggest thing for me. This is social media posts. The ability to put information out there is a zero cost, really zero effort. I mean, if you've got the strategy and you've got consistent in what you're doing and your approach, the reach that you can have from being consistent and keep turning up and promoting what you do and who you are, I don't get why people don't do it. I really don't. I understand the hurdles over insecurities of what people might say and everything else, but it's a free marketing tool that allows people to come to you. And having an element of a post that people disagree with. So the coffee post has no value. I was advised it was unoriginal. Was I willing to lose the goodwill within my network for posting a rather trivial, no value post? 100%. Every single week I would have those sorts of numbers come back. I was told it was posting crap on LinkedIn. Is it? If it was crap, the audience would tell me that and there would be no engagement at all. The fact that it had so much engagement just tells me that the information or the discussion is relatable and people feel like they need to offer their thoughts and be involved. I was told it reduces the social media or LinkedIn's value for the rest of the network. I'm not really sure how that is part of it, if I'm honest. I'm not sure how it devalues LinkedIn in any way, shape or form, because it's a social platform for us to share ideas, thoughts, business related topics. It's also important to note out of that post, there was an independent coffee business that's actually generated leads off the back of that post, generated income and sales and revenue. And they've messaged me to tell me that and to say thank you for the fact that the post has enabled them to grow their business. And that's what it's about. People have to understand, you have to understand that there's growth in this, and to seize opportunity. The fact that it's so easy to reach such a vast audience in such a quick time, for me, only has benefit. I don't see any downside to it. It's the ability to keep coming up with content that potentially keeps that audience number at a similar level. That post, for example, is the highest viewed post I think I've had in a very long time. And it's kind of got the creative thoughts going again to think, okay, what can we do next time? What sort of content, what viral content can we put out there that allows us to have another week like we've just had in the last 7 days? So in terms of this, I've had discussions about, is it clickbait? Is it about vanity metrics? Is it devaluing LinkedIn? Is it just there and it's got no real value to it? Okay, maybe. Am I really genuinely interested if Costa is better than Starbucks? Not really. It's still my opinion. Am I really keen to ensure that the value and the network continue to engage and come back and have a look at the profile to ensure that everything keeps going in the right direction, 100%. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, I kind of get it now, then hopefully this has done what it needs to do. Social media is really good fun. And if you get into a consistent nature of continually posting, putting information out there, people get involved. They love walking the journey with you. They get to share that with you. You get to leverage the posts, the interaction, the network that come with it. I've had clients, candidates, and various other people, competitors, people within the recruitment sector that have commented on the post, and I've responded to pretty much everyone. It creates that engagement, and who knows what comes from it. So I thought it would be a really good topic to chat through for the podcast today. I think it's got a really good element of debate. I think there'll be many of you that will be sitting there thinking, I still don't get it. And you will sit on the other side in terms of your beliefs, and perhaps you don't quite see the point of putting a post like that out there. But until you're sat here, until you understand and see the benefits from continually posting, you will continue to sit there and you'll continue to disbelieve. And that's cool. I'm quite happy with that, because the people that do post, the people that really understand it and are doing it, are seeing the benefits, and that's why they continue to do it. There's no instant gratification from any post. There's no instant pound signs or dollar signs that flash up the moment you put a post out, which again is perhaps something or a reason that people don't do it. But for long-term interaction and building an engaged network, you've just got to get out there and do it and enjoy it. So I hope that's helped you in some way. I hope that's given you some food for thought. I look forward to seeing your posts. If this has inspired you to put your first post out or do something on social media that doesn't come naturally, or is something you've been putting off, tag me in the post. Let's get something moving. I'd be really intrigued to see what you do and how you go about it. For me, it's the way forward. The fact that only 1% of people put posts out, which is ridiculous. If you're in sales and you're not doing it, you've just got to go and get it done. So hope you've enjoyed the episode. I look forward to speaking with you again next week. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Obviously this goes out on Apple and Spotify as well. Please get in touch if you've got any questions, any thoughts, any people you'd like me to interview on the next episode of the podcast. And I look forward to hearing from you. See you soon.